order this evening, and we have Pastor Mike Boudreau from Crescent Lake Christian Center who will give our opening for us.
Lord, we just want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Lord, to humbly appeal to you to please watch over us, watch over this community. And God, I ask you to fill every man and woman in this room with not only the knowledge of you, but Lord, give them great skill and great care to accomplish the things they need to accomplish to make this community even a better community to live in. And Lord, we ask you to protect us. Lord, let your grace and mercy fully cover us. And God, we'll be sure to give you all the glory and honor. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Our first order of business will be minutes of the regular city council meeting of January 18th, 2022.
Can we do roll call first?
Oh, let's do that first. Well, see, I don't have my thing. There it is. Roll call.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McElwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay. Are there any visitors here this evening that would like to address the council that are not on the agenda? Minutes of the regular council meeting of January 18th, 2022.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting January 18th, 2022.
Second?
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman McElwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of agenda?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McElwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Item number 1 on our agenda is to move into a public hearing for a 353 project at 106 Saratoga Avenue. Do I have a motion to go to public hearing?
I make a motion we go to public hearing for the 353.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman McElwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. The Community Development Department has this evening 2 applications for 353 tax abatement. The first one is for the apartment building at 106 Saratoga Street. That's an application by Jeff Watkins. He has done improvements to the building, which include new AC and furnace for all 3 apartments and repair of the front porch roof. He's repaired damaged interior elements to one of the apartments as well. This project was approved by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation in November of 2021. For commercial guidelines for 353 projects, this project falls under the level A2 minimum with a total investment of $32,001, and all of the requirements have been met. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Any public questions? I'll entertain a motion to close this public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing for the 353 project at 106 Saratoga Avenue.
Second?
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McElwee,
Yep.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Item number 2 on the agenda is consideration of the amendment to redevelopment plan for 106 Saratoga Avenue. It'd be the same stuff.
Same information.
Do we have any?
I move that we take ordinance number 22-02-01 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of the amendment of redevelopment plan for 106 Saratoga Avenue.
Move
Go ahead, Andrew.
I move that we approve ordinance number 22-02-01.
Second?
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 3, we will go into another public hearing for a 353 project at 415 South Thompson Avenue.
Thank you, Mayor.
We
This
have
is
to
the-
have a motion to
Oh,
close.
sorry.
Make a motion, we go into public hearing for the 353 project at 415 South Thompson.
Second.
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you. This is the property owned by the Van Til family, and they are planning to make this space at 415 South Thompson Avenue into a wine tasting room with an event space and a retail space. Improvements there have included new HVAC and a complete remodel of the interior that includes general carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. Exterior work has been done already to include transom windows. They're restoring the front door currently and hope to repair the tiles on the front. This project was presented to the Historic Preservation Commission in May of 2021 and was approved. It was also approved by the Excelsior Springs Redevelopment Corporation January 13th of 2022. This project qualifies for a 10-year abatement at 100% and a 3-year abatement at 50%. And it meets all the requirements for tax abatement. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Does anyone have any questions?
mhm,
Okay, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing for the 353 project at 415 South Thompson Avenue.
Second.
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 4, consideration of the amendment to the redevelopment plan for 415 South Thompson Avenue. Same criteria as she just went over.
Move that we take ordinance number 22-02-02 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of the amendment to redevelop 415 South Thompson Avenue.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-02-02.
second,
Roll call Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
yes,
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan.
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Thank you. Agenda item number 5 is consideration of a special use permit for 1012 Sunset Strip.
Yes, good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Thank you. This is an application for a short-term rental commonly known as a Airbnb, VRBO, at 1012 Sunset Strip, which is in our R1 single-family residential district. The Planning and Zoning Commission has voted unanimously to approve this, or recommend approval to you all of this for a 2-year time period, as this is their first time of this application. After that 2 years, it will be brought back for a revision. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about this at this time.
Logan, did any neighbors show up or anything?
No, they didn't. They found that this, it's compatible with the surrounding areas and won't be, cause any concern to the public health or neighborhood structure there, so.
Are there any other questions for Logan? Okay, consideration for a special use permit for 1012 Sunset Strip.
I'll make the motion to take ordinance 220203 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of a special use permit for 1012 Sunset Strip.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-02-03.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Agenda item number 6 is consideration of a special use permit renewal for 107 North Industrial Drive.
Thank you. So this is for the renewal of a special use permit after this 2-year time period has come up for the use of a retail garden center at 107 North Industrial Park Drive. With this renewal, the Planning and Zoning Commission finds that it is operating well, with one stipulation need to be kept in mind: some screening be provided to protect this the views of the industrious uses on the property. So some white screening would be acceptable. The Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended we approve this special use permit in perpetuity with the stipulation. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. The screening is provided to soften the views of the industrious uses on the property. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have with this.
Okay, consideration of a special use permit renewal for 107 North Industrial Drive.
I move we take ordinance number 22-02-04 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
Abstain.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of a special use permit renewal for 107 North Industrial Drive.
Move that we approve ordinance number 22-02-04.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank
Agenda.
you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 7, Chad is going to give us a discussion of the vacuum truck purchase. Or
Try to
lead-
be brief,
lead
as
the
we
discussion.
had many of these discussions on the Friday morning work session, but since we're on video tonight, we'll answer these questions to the public also. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. As you all know, there was much discussion on the new vac truck purchase from the January 18th council meeting, and many questions were asked. Since then, I've been working on gathering information to those questions, and my hope is that following information will answer those questions or concerns and justifies the new purchase of the current red equipment proposal. The two main questions or concerns were, number one, is the new replacement warranted at this time? And number two, what is the justification of the new vehicle over a good used vehicle? So first of all, we'll tackle concern number one. Is it time to replace? There are many resources in regards to fleet replacement strategies and finding out the optimal useful life of a vehicle and when to replace it. A common strategy is just based on the age and mileage. Many people use the 10-year or 100,000 mile strategy on their personal vehicles. While this may work with regular use vehicles, it does not work well with specialty vehicles. According to the article in Fleet Financials, January 13, 2015, one approach is to replace the vehicle when the cost to repair exceeds a threshold amount. Hopefully this time frame is before major repairs are needed and occur in the life of the vehicle. This strategy requires the examination of the historical maintenance and repair costs of the vehicle and how it relates to the residual value. The Navy Facilities Engineering Command has developed this approach and uses a 30% threshold as an ideal time to replace a vehicle before major costs and repairs are needed. Below is a chart that we put together based on our 2012 VACCON truck. As you can see from the years, when we bought it 2012 and moving across the top, maintenance and repairs were zero at the beginning. A residual value was $301,000. And there's no percentage of the maintenance and repair to the residual value. Moving on down, you can see, and I won't read through all of those, but you can see of each year the maintenance and repairs, and this came straight from Red Equipment. They were kind enough to basically print out about a 25-page spreadsheet of every expense we ever put into that truck and how it relates to the residual value. As you can see with this strategy, we should have been looking to sell around year 5 because in 2017, because that's when we hit 29.89%. And I will note that 2018 is only, that data is only the last 4 months of the year, as they had some kind of a data leak on it, or they couldn't get it when they switched over from Red Equipment to Red Municipal Equipment. And moving forth, you can even see where even further years in 2019, 2020, we were putting in more in maintenance and repairs than what the vehicle was worth in 2020. According to the article, once maintenance and repair costs exceed the value of the vehicle, the organization is in effect trading operating dollars for capital dollars like we did in 2020. The replacement was not done in 2017 due to the police department's cash balance of the fund, as well. We were still trying to build cash reserves and not borrow money from the general fund. In the past and since 2001, we have traded this vehicle on a much more frequent time frame, which helps keep maintenance costs lower and trade-in values higher. Buyback options were even included in 2 of the last 4 purchases. This also helps future budgets as there is less full value expenditures where there is no residual value left in the vehicle. The next chart is basically the history from 1991 to 22. When I started here in 1990, we had an old Vector truck. It was a model 850, but it could not, when I went back in the records, I could not find any details on it of what we bought it for. In 2001, we bought a truck, another VACCON from Burnham Equipment for $161,000, and you can see the trade-in values, the difference, and it had a 10-year buyback price. In Key Equipment in 2005, we bought a Vector. It was listed for $239,000, but being that we traded in a 4.5-year-old vehicle, we got $142,000 on the trade. The difference was around $97,900. Had a buyback contract of $120,000 for a 5-year, and then a 10-year for $50,000. Then in 2012, the current model that we have was a VACCON. We bought it from Burnham Equipment also. Bought it for $301,947. Had an $85,000 trade value, so the difference was $216,947. That one did not have a 5-year buyback or a 10-year buyback in it. So for concern number 2, why new instead of used? As for the past history, I know the past 3 units were bought new and cannot find any records on the 1999-91 model, but assume it was bought new as well. One main advantage of buying new instead of used would be a full warranty on both the cab and chassis as well as the equipment that is installed on the unit. As for VACCON, they warrant combination sewer cleaning equipment for 24 months and vacuum equipment for a period of 6 months to the first retail purchaser. Major components that are not manufactured by VACCON are warranted by the respective manufacturers. VACCON warrants the fan blades, auxiliary engine, drive components, water pump, and debris tank for 60 months. The water tanks are warranted for the lifetime of the unit. The hot shot water tanks are warranted for 1 year from the date of the unit is put in place into service. The warranty is not transferable with VACCON or Vector or used equipment from individuals. So buying a used vehicle will be sold as is with no warranty. As you can see from the maintenance and repair costs, the unit is not cheap by any means to operate, especially when it is used every day as a primary unit. Key Equipment, who is the Kansas City region's Vector dealer, does get some lease returns on a national level, but per discussions with Steve Williams at Key Equipment, if the truck chassis had not been licensed to the agency during the lease, there may be some chassis warranty left depending on the lease length. If it had been licensed, you could always buy an extended warranty, and those sometimes get very expensive. Different needs for primary equipment use versus secondary equipment use. Public Works operates with a large fleet of vehicles and equipment. Like other departments, we could categorize our equipment into primary use and secondary use. The flusher truck, much like a police car or ambulance, is in use most every day. These vehicles are the lifeblood of the departments. From a maintenance perspective, like flushing sewer lines or an emergency setting like a sewer backup, it needs to operate 100% of the time. At any time it is down for repairs, it puts the city at risk for liability on a potential sewer backup claim. This is a major reason why I would like to keep the second unit. It is commonly recognized that newer vehicles operate much more efficiently and effectively than the older vehicles, which are at more risk for a breakdown. These items include, Public Works also has quite a bit of used equipment that we've bought from the used market over the years. These items include our road grader, a crane, rollers, Dynapack, various trailers, and our curb machine. These items are not used as a primary piece of equipment, but still serve an important role over the maintenance of the city. They also have very low maintenance costs. For instance, we own and operate a 1985 John Deere road grader that we bought in 1997 from military surplus. Its primary use is for grading the remaining 2 gravel roads. Naturally, I couldn't justify buying a new road grader for that purpose. Higher trade values on newer vehicles. Buying new vehicles and trading them on a more frequent schedule will result in a higher trade value. This would not apply to used vehicles market since they would be using it more towards the end of its useful life cycle instead of the beginning of it. With the current state of the used vehicle market, passenger cars and light trucks were up 37.7% as of yesterday's news, or last week's news. According to our Red Equipment dealer, used commercial trucks were up about 30% as well due to inflation or other economic factors. So that would again add you'd be buying a higher expensive used vehicle. Guaranteed buyback programs. Guaranteed buyback programs are only possible through dealers, therefore not possible in the used market. These programs give us a good idea of the value of the vehicle for the next purchase on the replacement schedule, therefore making it easier to budget for the next purchase. We have added a 5-year buyback to our existing option sales offer, which is $142,155 at 5 years, with some conditions such as engine run hours and OEM parts. Other important factors to consider. VACCON and Vactor are leaders of the industry. Both VACCON and Vactor make single axle units, and we have always used those specifications in every truck we have, because we have very tight and narrow streets, which crews must navigate through to get through all the sanitary sewer manholes and flushing. The single axle units definitely have a tighter turning radius as well. We also spec the sewer hose assembly reel on the front for much better sight control for the operator. Some suppliers put the hose reel on the rear of the unit, which in some instances forces the driver to back up to the job site or manhole. Plus, this keeps the workers in front of the vehicle instead of at the rear of the vehicle in the area of oncoming traffic during the jetting process, and which is a huge safety factor. The smaller class trucks allow for the tighter turning radius as well with the hose reel on the front. VACCON is the only manufacturer that has the pony motors for the operation of the sewer jetting portion of the truck instead of putting all the load on the much larger truck engine. This is done to use much more fuel efficient pony motor, and it's a big cost saving for the hours of sewer jetting. And we have a sheet, which we'll go over just in a few minutes, on the fuel savings of those pony motors. When searching the used market on Machinery Trader and Truck Trader, these specifications greatly reduce the amount of available units, and most of them, almost all of them, I saw while searching units were older than our current model. On Machinery Trader, and I won't read through all of these, but you can see the search items. The initial search was 32, and it went down to 3 once you put all the search items in. Commercial Truck Trader started out at 862 and went down to 9 when you put down all of our criteria. And again, most all of those, every one of them were as old or older than our current truck. Ritchie Brothers Auction only had 5, and all of them were dual or 3-axle combo units. And Purple Wave had 1, a 2002 model, and had a pass sale also. That was the only thing they listed. Another key concern was why government bids. The government bid programs such as Sourcewell, HGAC Buy, or other cooperative contracts help public agencies reap the benefits of national leverage pricing through greater efficiency and economy in procuring goods and services. Per my discussion with Steve Williams of Key Equipment, about 90% of his sales of sewer trucks and other large equipment is done through cooperative purchase agreements. The Red Equipment proposal is still $11,157 under the HGAC Buy contract price. Red Equipment has sold 41 trucks between 2013 and 2021, with 10 of those on various government contract programs. But much like us, their final sales price is much lower than the government procured price, saving us money. We sent out a survey to 21 cities across the metro area on Friday, January 28th, asking basically 3 questions. And whether or not they use cooperative bids such as HGAC Buy and Sourcewell, or specifications in their bidding procedures, and if they owned or leased a sewer truck. As of Tuesday, February 3rd, 6 cities had responded, and Liberty did today. In Independence, their answers were, yes, we use all the cooperative contracts as an avenue for procurement. We don't rely on individual bidding for additions to the fleet. The majority of the fleet acquisitions are done through cooperative contracts. We have from time to time done individual bids, but the majority are done otherwise, and they have 2 sewer vac trucks, both are VACCON. In Blue Springs, yes, we frequently use HGAC and Sourcewell. If there are no government bids available, we place the information on our website and mail specifications to the vendors in our area. They bought their Vactor through Sourcewell. Pleasant Valley, yes, we've used all of the above, meaning HGAC Buy and Sourcewell and government bids or cooperative bids. They have used specifications, individual bids for ambulances, but they do not own a sewer vacuum truck. City of Odessa. The City of Odessa does use state bids and Sourcewell for the purchase of a lot of our trucks and equipment. When we use a state bid or Sourcewell, our board usually does not require us to get 3 bids because the process has already been done. We piggyback off the MoDOT for a lot of the state bids, equipment for tractors and mowers. As far as Sourcewell, we use them when we purchase heavy equipment like loaders, skid steer sweepers, or even vac trailers. We do not have a combination vac jetter truck right now, but we have looked into buying one in the past and found that Key Equipment and Red Equipment were both good sources to buy from. City of Raymore. Everything we can from cooperative bids, mainly Sourcewell. They only use specifications and individual bids if not available on Sourcewell. They compared Vactor and VacCon from Sourcewell and went with Vactor due to the immediate availability as their truck was dying. City of Grandview. Yes, Sourcewell primarily on everything we can. Primarily cooperative bids, specifications, and individual bids only on items that are not available through Sourcewell. We had a Vactor, so we replaced it with a Vactor new 4 months ago, and we did not consider used. They got $40,000 for a 2010 Vactor on Purple Wave. Liberty, like I said, they just responded today. We do use HGAC buy for base prices of bids if applicable, and then they add a lot of options and specs on it. We do have a VacCon combination truck for hydro excavation as a backup for sewer maintenance. We also have a 2000 or a Vactor 2110 model combination truck for sewer flushing and maintenance. As you can see, there's definitely a commonality between all those cities that use those cooperative bidding. I checked with Key Equipment and Supply with Steve Williams again, and they had just sold a very comparable Vactor truck to the unit of the city of Oak Grove through Sourcewell for $415,900. So that is about $2,000 more than ours is listed around $413,000. As for the attachments, I'll be brief through here as we discussed most of this stuff through the Friday morning work session. But there's a fuel consumptive savings sheet that shows about the savings that can be used through the use of a pony motor. Another option or another sheet in there or a resource was APWA. Instead of using the chart, they use more of a graph for the vehicle life cycle cost. But basically goes along with the same concept of replacing it when we hit that threshold. VacCon has several sheets in there also about their equipment. One of the big things that why we like VacCon is their 3-stage fan that Vactor does not have, and it's the only fan in the market capable of vacuuming underwater without air induction. So if you have a hole full of water, you can just stick the pipe right in the water and it will pump it, suck it out. If you don't have that, you have to hold it above it, and it has to bring in air and water, which is a lot slower process. There's some green initiatives from VacCon. There's a letter in there about the buyback contract for 5 years for the $142,155, and then Key Equipment supplied us with the City of Oak Grove bid through Sourcewell, and then they also have one. The last piece that I attached in there was a vehicle that was sold from Sykeston, Missouri, a 2011 Freightliner on an M2 truck, which is almost identical to ours, and it sold on Purple Wave for $19,250. Any questions?
Well, again, I just wanted to thank you for the extra legwork. I know there was a lot of research in that, and as I mentioned earlier, we can deliberate new, used. I think if we were in a normal environment without supply chain disruption, it would look a little bit differently. But I think I found similar results when I called various providers and vendors. They had nothing in inventory.
Right.
That would even resemble used, and if they did, it was on the rentals.
Right.
That they were not willing to sell. So I called multiple cities, multiple vendors. The only difference I found was cities similar in size to us, as opposed to someone the size of Liberty even, or Independence. I called Smithville, Harrisonville, Kennett, Bridgeton, Mexico, Town and Country, Eureka. Most of them do competitive bid. 2 of them did a Sourcewell type bids. But again, appreciate all the extra
No problem.
due diligence process to make sure that we're making the right decision.
Any other questions?
Any other comments? Thank you, Chad, for all that hard work. So we will move to agenda item number 8, which is a resolution, consideration of a combination vacuum truck. And we have 2 choices. Choice A is the lease purchase, and choice B is the buy outright. So when you make your motion for the resolution, choose either A or B.
And we do that first.
Yes.
And I will add to that, that we were just gonna do the discussion this meeting and then come back to the next meeting. But the interest rates, as everyone knows, is going up. This offer for the lease is at a 3.22%. So if we waited another 2 weeks, couldn't guarantee that, it would get bumped up. That's why we did the discussion, and basically everything from the research we found, we figured that we still think it's a very good offer like original. That's why we put it back on also as the purchase. The really difference on here is just, it's the one-time purchase for the buyout, for the buy is $413,065. Or we can, if we do the lease, it's 3 payments of $146,649.52. That would total $439,000. The benefit of the leasing is, and one other correction too, they are, it would be available around April or May, he believes. And we'd either way, either outright purchase or a lease, we'd take possession around April or May. And then if we lease it, the first payment would be deferred to that February of 2023. He said there could be some applicable fees and charges to it, but he said it wouldn't be big. I think the interest on all of it was around $39,000 if you did the whole 3-year lease payment. So there's no prepayment penalty on it too. So if we wanted, and one additional benefit of the lease is it allows you, as we're still in the cash building on the sewer fund, so if we have any major expenses the rest of the year, it frees up your cash because you're not spending that money right now. We could evaluate it at the end of the budget year or even in February at that time, and if we wanted to and the cash reserves were good at that time, we could make the entire payment.
Any other questions?
I will choose option A, and I'll make the resolution on 1314 to approve it.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
and which option? Does he need to pick an option right now?
The motion was
The
made by
motion
Brent
was
for-
made
for
by
A.
Brent for A.
Okay. Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So now we need to approve the resolution, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. So I make a motion that we approve resolution number 1314 for the purchase of the vacuum truck.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for
Thank
all
you,
of
Thank
your
you.
hard work,
You're
Chad.
quite welcome.
That was a labor of love, right?
Oh, yeah. Just another day at the office.
Okay. Agenda item number 9 is also, Chad, is a consideration of a change order number 1 with Rynearson on the Streetscape project.
All right, as you all know, Rynearson has the current contract for the Streetscape project and the Miller project. The fee for the work for his lump sum was $80,920 when we combined the 2 Streetscape projects. The construction work is all complete as of now. Due to the additional time frame and work for adding the additional streets such as Concourse and extending Jesse James overlay to 69 Highway, and the addition of adding the bike lanes on Jesse James, combining the Streetscape with Miller project, and then meeting the grant timeframes, Rynearson has incurred additional costs in design, construction administration, and construction observation, and are requesting additional funds to cover these expenses. Those expenses come to a total of $25,299 and prepared and submitted change order number 2, which gives a detailed breakdown on the additional cost of those 2 projects. As you can see, we have plenty of money left over in that. We're about $105,000 under the quantities on base repairs. So, like for instance, the Superior Bone contract was $1,284,000. Change order 1 added $64,000 when we added Concourse and some areas on for the bike lanes and such as that. And then after the comp work was all completed and they deducted everything for low quantities, that saved us about $105,013.76. So with that, we have about $175,661 remaining. And like I said, there's a detailed breakdown on the back that shows all the difference between the construction administration, the design, and construction observation. Any questions?
Questions? Okay, consideration of change order number 1 with Rynearson on Streetscape project.
I move we approve resolution number 1315.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Chad. Okay, number 10, consideration of the Fishing River Watershed Master Plan.
Representative Doug Ritchie has advanced a discussion with Missouri Department of Natural Resources to assist the city solve flooding in downtown Excelsior Springs. The timing for this endeavor is under discussion because of the availability of stimulus funds that exist until the end of 2026. The best solutions begin with good planning and community involvement. And so we have put together, with the help of Vireo and GBA, a scope of work to create a master plan of the Fishing River watershed that can be implemented in phases. This is expected to take almost a year to complete, but following completion of the master plan, projects can be selected, designed, property acquired, and implemented as deemed appropriate. No time to spare. We don't have time to seek outside funding to pay for this, or we would lose several months while we wait for funding decisions to be made that could be spent toward creating the master plan. We did request Clay County to assist us with the master plan, and attended a work session last week and requested that they fund this study on our behalf. They will meet later this week and make that decision. I would like for us to consider the agreement with the consultants so we don't have to wait to our next council meeting, and should the county approval not be received, that the city use its ARP funds to pay for the study. We visited with both Clay and Ray County. We visited with Ray County this morning to ask them to be our partners with this project, largely because most of the work will be occurring outside our city limits. And it just needs to be one of those things that we are partners with, as opposed to creating a problem for our neighbors outside the city limits that then they have to sort of sort out. As I said, Vireo is here tonight. If you have other questions of them that they can possibly answer better than I can.
Good evening, Mayor Powell, members of the council. My name is Scott Schulte. I'm a senior environmental planner with Vireo in Kansas City, Missouri. So again, we've been working with the city to develop the scope of work for this watershed master plan, and I'm glad to answer any questions that you all may have about the proposed work.
Any questions?
One of the things that I think that we talked about that's exciting about this, and really it's sort of the innovation of the last time a plan has been done for this was in the 80s. And it's now possible to create a 2D watershed model. So you can actually model the solutions using the past data of floods and the floodplain data, and kind of see what would happen if you've implemented any one of these solutions. And we don't think it's one solution. It's going to be multiple solutions, and we can kind of schedule those over a period of time based on just whatever our needs are. But those are the kind of things that we think we'll discover this year as we start this planning work.
Yeah, in 36 years, they did great work 36 years ago when they looked at this. But the suite of solutions that we have now, I think, has expanded. We know a lot more about how watersheds behave, and we know a lot more about how to model them with the computer modeling. So if you've ever seen a FEMA map, you get a map and it says the floodplain is here. One of the advantages of a 2D model is it actually can show how the water moves and flows over time. Essentially, we can produce animations. So you can see where the water is going, how it changes over the course of different floods of different magnitudes. So it's a much more sophisticated, but it's also a much more useful tool to figure out, what's happening and possible solutions and test scenarios, but also it's really a good tool to communicate with you all, with the public. So that's an important part of the strategy. And then the other thing also is that, we're at the confluence of two rivers here. So, the problems that are happening right here are being produced in the entire watershed. So we need to understand and take a watershed approach and look at how the water behaves, how storms occur throughout the watershed, when and how the water arrives at this point downtown. So that helps us understand why it's happening, when and how, but then also allows us to look at those solutions upstream, both in, on the Dry Fork tributary as well as upstream in Ray County. Another thing that we also, I think is exciting about this project is you all have a big head start with the work that's been done previously with floodplain buyouts and creating greenways. I mean, one of the solutions is to let the river go where it would like to go safely. And you all have already done a lot of that. So we would start by looking at that approach and expanding upon it, seeing where we could create more safe floodplains, nature-based solutions. And we find now that that's actually very effective and cost-effective in slowing the water down safely and reducing the intensity of flooding that does happen as well. So the nice thing about that is that those things also, as you all know, create amenities. So we'd like to expand the open space network, as well as looking at traditional solutions like detention, but putting the right types of detention ponds or basins in the right location, and then also seeing if we can make those a community amenity as opposed to just, a big eyesore that somebody has to deal with.
We're not interested in building Bagnell Dam.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, back 35 years ago, the old expression was, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Corps of Engineers and others that studied this, a big detention basin or a big armored riprap channel, that was sort of where they gravitated. We're not there. At this point in time, we're really focused towards those.
How might the public, how could they be involved in this project?
That's an excellent question, thank you. Yeah, a master plan has to include public involvement because we not only have the city properties and the business owners and residential properties that are flooding, but of course, we have the people all upstream in the watershed and everything. And so we all know if you flood, that's very important to you. But if you're on the top of the hill, less important to you, possibly. So part of what we want to do is we want to bring the whole community together in a series of public workshops. We'll actually start by doing fact-finding at the beginning to actually ask where the problem areas are. We all think we know where the problem areas are, but we always learn new information when we talk to the public. So that would be the first phase of the engagement, would be to really ask the public to tell us where they think problem areas are. So we have a good up-to-date picture. Then we will have a series of workshops. So we envision a couple of large community workshops where we can, first of all, in the first phase, present the study and sort of the preliminary direction where we're going. And then in the second phase, as we start to focus on solutions that we might be able to design in the first few years, involving the public in that as well. We also want to have targeted stakeholder engagement where we would actually go to an association or business organizations, homeowners associations. We can go out and meet people where they are. And then also we want to be able to work with individual property owners to help them understand, maybe what the impacts are, what the solutions are, and try to get their buy-in. So ultimately, we want it to be a community plan because that's the best kind of plan. That's going to be the most effective plan. That's a plan that you all then hopefully, can get behind as well because you have confidence that the community supports it. And then, if we only work on, say, a few solutions, a couple of key solutions, in the first 5 years, your successors later on will know that, a public process happened. So they can have confidence in picking it up, looking at future projects in future years as well. So.
Thank you. And I think that was important in getting Ray County involved today when we met with them, because a lot of this work is going to be done in Ray County. And so they were very receptive to helping us with that community engagement part. And the other thing I think is good about this project, we've done it twice before, and then it gets put on a shelf. This time, Molly has some really good leads for funding through DNR and other kinds of funding, that this isn't going to be a project that we're going to spend a big lump of money on that's going to be put on a shelf. We are going to try to really begin to solve this It's a horrific problem.
Yeah.
And I think that we will be shovel-ready when the money becomes available. Is our plan.
But again, if there are projects that can't be done in the first 5
Right,
years, then we
right.
can tee those up later on. So we prioritize both based upon the importance of need, but then also maybe the cost effectiveness and allow you to look at it. both
That was
ways.
going to be my question, is it sounds like the solution is multi-layered.
Yes.
And so I'm hoping that a part of this would be helping to prioritize
Yeah.
what gives us the biggest result for the dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Cost benefit analysis. And part of
Okay.
that also is a cost effectiveness analysis. Sometimes you can have quick hits, low hanging fruit that you can do immediately. You might prioritize those even though they don't necessarily have a huge benefit. Or maybe there are some of those types of incremental approaches if it turns out that one of the real significant projects is very expensive. So we'll help you evaluate what bites to take out of the elephant and what succession to get the most benefit with the funding that you have, and then what to tee up for later. So we would give you the information along with our engineering partners at GBA to help you make those decisions.
Very good.
Thank you. And he did a really good job speaking to the Clay County Commissioners the other day.
Thank you.
They had some different kinds of questions because they're giving the money, and you did a really good job addressing their questions.
Thank you. I guess I could add one other comment that we've already mentioned today. The fact that that you're talking with Ray County and Clay County and Ray County are talking together about partnering and everything, that's just huge. We can't, a lot of the water is coming from Ray County. We can't solve some of these issues without their participation and making it a win-win for all of the citizens of both counties and everything is tremendous. So the fact that you're already working on that is going to be a gigantic bonus, and it's really to everybody's credit.
Thank you. Smee, anything else? Okay, so this,
Thank
I've
you
lost
very
my
much.
place here. Okay, consideration of the Fishing River Watershed Master Plan Resolution.
I'll make the motions to approve 1316.
Second?
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, number 11 is the consideration of the mowing services agreement.
We have before us a proposal for mowing the cemeteries, Crown Hill and Hillcrest cemeteries, as well as blighted properties. Bids were opened on February 1st and 2 proposals were received. The apparent low bidder was Pope Lawn Care for all of the work, except they did not submit a bid for vegetation removal on blighted properties. The bid is for $990 per mow at Crown Hill, $900 per mow at Hillcrest Cemetery, and $40 for a half acre of blighted property mowing, compared to a proposal received from BW Mulching and Land Management of $1,500 per mow at Crown Hill, $1,200 per mow at Hillcrest, $125 per half acre of blighted property. The estimated cost, we project that we typically mow about 20 times during March and November, so the projected cost would be about $37,000. This would be a 3-year agreement. Pope Lawn Care came to us. Our previous contractor terminated his contract mid-year last year because he could not find labor to fill the agreement, and Pope Lawn Care picked up the remaining term of the contract and finished it. So this would be a resolution to approve the mowing agreement with Pope Lawn Care.
Any questions?
Molly, what's our plan for vegetation removal on blighted property if we go forward with this?
They would use a different contractor. The other contractor bid, as well as they have other contractors they work with for that removal.
Okay.
So there are other options.
Anything else? Okay, consideration of the mowing service agreement.
I move we approve resolution number 1317 for mowing services.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay. Number 12 is the consideration of a compensation and classification study.
The City commissioned a compensation and classification study in June of 2021. The departments were experiencing difficulty in hiring qualified applicants for police officers, dispatchers, paramedics, and maintenance workers in an employment environment where employers throughout the region were experiencing difficulty. We were seeing several employers making wage adjustments to secure the personnel they needed, and we were beginning to consistently hire at a higher rate of minimum salary to meet our staffing needs. McGrath Human Resources Group was selected to complete a study that would include analysis of the external market, an internal review of our job descriptions, skills, and various competencies, and to analyze our current salary schedule, compression, and current compensation policies. After much discussion, we did receive the results of their recommendation in the last few weeks, and McGrath has recommended in their proposal that all employees would receive a 3% cost of living with additional increases as needed to reach the minimum salary in the range for their position. In August, what makes this possible, the Missouri legislature approved 2 revenue enhancement measures, wayfare and the gas tax, which enable the city to offer a competitive wage. In addition to compensation, McGrath reviewed our major benefits, and they have, as looking at about 50 health plans in the region from the communities they surveyed, they've determined that our proposal for health plans is actually very good. McGrath was not able to be here tonight, but they were here on Friday and were available if you had any questions for them before tonight. I think that's really about the meat of it.
Does anyone have any questions?
Nope. They did a good job.
I think they did a very thorough job. Okay, consideration of the compensation and classification study.
I'll make the motion to take ordinance 220205 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Okay, consideration of the compensation and classification study.
Move that we approve ordinance number 22-02-05.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Our next item on our agenda is appropriations, and Rhonda will go over those for us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appropriations that was presented for your approval is for a 3-week period, $1,547,883.95, and the breakdown on January 12th is $431,896.22, January 19th of $94,554.89, January 26th, $720,052.34, and payroll on January 31st of $301,380.50. And I respectfully ask your approval of the amount of $1,547,883.95.
Any questions to Rhonda about these? Okay, I entertain a motion on the appropriations.
I move we take ordinance number 22-02-06 to second reading.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes. Consideration of the appropriations.
I move we approve ordinance number 22-02-06.
Second.
Roll call, Shannon?
Councilman McAwee,
Yes.
Councilman Spear,
Yes.
Councilman Kowalski,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morgan,
Yes.
Mayor Powell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 14 is transmittals.
Yes, I think that is the court report and then a standard letter from our auditors to the council. Kind of at the onset of starting the audit.
Okay, remarks by city manager.
Legislative conference that MML hosts every year is going to be February 15th and 16th if anyone is interested in attending. Just let me know. You don't have to do that now.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Sonia?
I guess we had a really nice chocolate tour yesterday downtown.
Yes, we did.
And if anybody missed that, there's an opportunity coming up soon. The Sippin' Into Springtime tickets went on sale today, so lots of good things happening in our community. Fun.
Steve?
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
I'm good.
Andrew?
Thank you.
Okay. It was it was so positive downtown Saturday. Everybody in the shops and all the people that were here, it was just really a positive experience. And so we put our best foot forward again. So.
Nice to open up.
Yes, it is. So that being, and we have no closed session tonight, so we are adjourned.
Record.